I've said it once and I will say it again. Pods suck, but can they be made better? So we've been spending a lot of time making this frame right here. This is the new ARC-1 frame. It's based on the Starving Leo, which we've been tweaking for a good year or more. Originally, the idea was to make the lightest frame possible that had a lot of room for mounting different hardware. Shaun wanted to do his own frame, so we based his new frame on this design, and that's where we came up with the ARC-1. So some things that we've done to this ARC-1 to make it fly as good as possible is we've made it as stiff as possible. We've done that by doing a few different things, one of which is we've created this structure kind of like an airplane wing where these side mounts sandwich in between these two plates, which really stiffen the center section. We have double stiffening in here, multiple screws. It creates this cool little iris thing that I can show you right here. It creates this cool little iris thing which locks the arms even if the screws are coming out. If you see here, I'm missing 4 screws. But the arms are still super locked, which is what we want. You can see the mounts that creates this little structure. This is a very stiff frame. 5mm arms, we've gotten it as stiff as possible to make it the best flying quad possible. But, you know, people wanted more. People wanted their pods back. So here you go. We created this pod right here. Truk was working hard to figure out a way to make a pod that just doesn't suck. The biggest issue I have with pods normally is they put these pods together and they make them so there's no room to mount anything in the pod. So they end up putting a lot of stuff on the stack, and I hate stuff mounted on that stack. The stack needs to be just the flight controller and the ESC. The more weight you put on there, the more stuff moves, the more it transmits vibration into the gyro, the more wind can catch, the worse the cooling, the vibration transmitted via all the wires. There's a million reasons not to put stuff on the stack, and there's a million reasons you shouldn't do it. So when people are using these pods, they put stuff on the stack. They use these mounting plates, which I know what you're going to say, oh, that gets it off the flight controller, but it still transmits all the vibration through the screws, even if it's not touching. You got to think about the fact that there's weight on top of that flight controller. When the pod or the quad itself shifts very quickly, it transfers that weight into momentum, and it's amplified the further out it actually is from the bottom of the screws. So it is not good to mount stuff on the stack. So, you know, we had a solution to that problem. We talked to Truk. We said, what can we do to prevent people from mounting stuff on the stack? And that's where we came up with this amazing pod here. If you look, all right. So if you look right here at this pod, you can see what we've done is created a channel with a flat surface in here. What's nice about this channel is we can actually mount the hardware to this flat surface. Plus there's a little hook to help keep the hardware in place. You can see that we can easily mount VTXs or receivers. Everything can be mounted in these channels just like it would be mounted on the top plate of this frame. If you're building this frame, here's a little 3-inch version. What I normally recommend is mounting stuff on the bottom of this top plate right here. That gets it off the stack. This frame's been designed so there's tons of room to actually mount all the hardware. That's something important. Something that's very important is that you buy a frame where, regardless of the frame, you buy a frame that has room to mount all the hardware properly so nothing has to be put on the stack. I don't care if you use our frames. I don't care what brand frames you use. But you need to make sure that when they design this frame, they're actually designing it to put the hardware in. This isn't, you know, some purse you're going to put around your arm and look good. It's a functional device. The most important thing about a frame is the function. Make sure it's stiff. Make sure the arms don't twist. Make sure they don't flex. Make sure it's made with good carbon. Don't buy a frame based solely on looks, because that is one of the most important factors on making your quad fly properly. So here we go. These are our frames. If you notice, all our frames are meant to have multiple ways to mount things. The Willy and the Schizo, both frames, have actually 2 positions to mount hardware to keep the stack clean. Any frame we design, you can bet we've thought about making the fly the best, because we're FlightOne and we want to fly the best. We're not here to win beauty contests, although we still want the frame to look good. So keep that in mind when you're building and buying these frames. Keep everything off the stack. Keep places to mount stuff as much as possible. So some other interesting things about our frames, something we're rolling out now, is we've listened to our customers, and there's a few of our competitors that actually offer lifetime warranty on the frames. Now, we looked into how they're doing this, and we're seeing if it's something that we can do. And we've decided we can do something similar to what they're doing. I know FlightOne offers a lifetime warranty, so does our Martin. And I looked and see how they did it. So basically, their idea is to charge a small fee when you lifetime warranty a frame. They have you etch something into it so they know that piece is being replaced. And they charge you a small fee. It includes the shipping of the part. Basically, it's like a shipping and handling fee. And then they send the part out. So we're going to do the exact same thing. We're going to make it even easier. This is going to go along the same lines as all the other replacement plan stuff we have. But the difference here is for the lifetime of the frame, we're going to replace those parts forever. It's going to be a better lifetime warranty than any of these other guys even have. We're going to make sure those small fees are even cheaper than what they're doing, but we're going to offer the same lifetime protection. So bash these frames however you want. And I think what makes us unique too is this frame is actually a racing frame. We know this sucker is going to crash. We know the arms are going to break. We know you're going to get damaged, and we're still warranting it for a lifetime as well. FlightOne, I'm told, when they lifetime warranty their racing frame, it doesn't include the arms. These include the arms. So whatever you do this frame, we're going to replace these pieces for a lifetime of the frame. A couple other things we can talk about this frame. One thing is we're using carbon fiber camera mounts. Not only does that make structurally, it makes the frame stronger, but also it makes the camera not have that annoying jello. We tried TPU mounts before, and on the most part they work okay, but the carbon plates just make that extra little teeny crispy part that makes the video even better and just keeps the jello out of the video. The other thing is we actually made this mountable with 30 by 30 and 20 by 20. Just by adjusting where these stack screws are, you can alternate between 20 by 20 and 30 by 30 hardware. The other thing is, replacing arms on this are really simple. I know some people say let's stay away from it because it uses the stack screws in the arms, but actually all you have to do is push your stack down, pull the screw out, nothing's going to come loose, and just put the arm in and put the new screws in. It does use 2 screws for each arm. One of them is in the stack, but it doesn't matter because it's a very easy replacement, and having 2 screws plus this center little iris, the center little iris in the middle of here, makes the arms just lock in. If this arm's not locked in, the quad has a hard time controlling itself because it's compensating for the arm continuously moving, which is going to make a bad flying quad. We want to make these quads fly as good as possible, and we're going to work on these frames to get them to the point where they're flying as good as possible. The other thing about this frame is we're coming out with a pretty cheap price for it. It's a lifetime warranty frame. It's a cheap price. But not only that, but we're using the most premium carbon we can find. Not only that, but we're using the most premium cutter that we can find as well. So every frame comes out with these perfect arms, no delamination, no burns, no vibrations from a dull bit. And it's super strong carbon, strongest carbon I've ever tested, honestly. And every one of our frames uses the same stuff, and it's just amazing. As we go, if with our lifetime warranty, if we find any of these things, any weak points of the frame, we'll adjust the pieces as we go. The Schizo frame, we came out with one design, and over time we changed to get it to the perfect design where nothing breaks. I know with the Willie frame, JR was talking about how he went through, I think, multiple GoPros and all kinds of other stuff, but the one thing that survived was this frame. No pieces on it broke. So from here on out, every one of our frames is going to be over-engineered, but still kept super lightweight as well. Another thing, each one of these frames is available in multiple configurations. You can have your XL stretch frame. You can have your true X frame, which I and Shaun Taylor prefer. You can have your hybrid arm frame, which Min Chan prefers, which is basically 2 X arms in the front, 2 XL arms in the back. You can even do the reverse to a hybrid and have wider ones in the front and narrow ones in the back. You can buy these in any configuration you want, but if you decide you want to change, just buy some new arms and swap them out, and you can try all the different modes with the same frame. This is one of the coolest things about this, that we've designed it so the iris still locks it in when we do that, but at the same time you can try all the different things and all the different arms. There's 2 arms that you need for XL configurations. There's basically a right and a left. And the X arms, all 4 are the same. So if you want a frame that you don't ever have to worry about having a spare arm because they're all the same, go with the X. or go with the XL and just buy them in pairs, and you can do any of that configuration as well. All right, guys, comment. Let me know if you think pods suck. Let me know if you agree with me and you think the pods needed to be engineered. Like, comment, hit that little bell, and let me know what you think of my videos and what I can do to improve them. Also, comment if you've had bad experiences with those pods or if you just love the way they look and you don't care.